Hello, beautiful people. Welcome to A Positive Thought. I created this daily podcast because life is hard and it's actually impossible to be positive all the time. But I hope today's thought will give all of us a chance to stop, reflect, and have a moment of gratitude in our day, even if that moment is small, because we're all a work in progress. This is just a reminder. And today, again, I want to remind you that this is not professional advice. So, seek a therapist if that's what you need. I'm not one. I'm your host, Candice B, and today's thought is, it's time to stop avoiding your problems. Yeah, I feel like I just came from my own neck just now. Like, I'm feeling attacked by me. And if you're anything like me, you probably felt that too. I hate being uncomfortable, and I hate confrontation, both with other people and myself. So naturally, I tend to avoid problems. I'm one of those people who has to have a sit down with myself and force myself to confront issues on a regular basis, and it's hard. It's wild to me that it actually seems easier to just exist rather than to truly live and try your hardest to build an amazing life on purpose. That's why I feel like so many people are unhappy, and it's why I feel like so many people hurt other people, because they are in pain and refuse to confront it, and I don't want that to be us, okay? We're not doing that. If this is your first time practicing non-avoidance, or it's been a while, don't worry. I'm going to tell you how to do it because bossing people around is kind of one of my favorite things. First, you need to identify your problems. Right now, as I'm recording this, I'm actually having a problem in a personal relationship. It's not a big problem. Nobody's lying to me or stealing my money, but it's a problem nonetheless. It's been building up for quite a while, and I just let it. I saw it building up out of the corner of my eye, but I kept turning to avoid it and kind of living like everything was okay. Does that sound familiar? Because if it does, I want you to think about the problem or problems you're avoiding and kind of keep them in mind for the rest of this podcast. We call that facing reality around these parts, and it's kind of important. Now that you're here in reality with me, you need to accept that this is a problem that must be dealt with. It's a little different from just facing the problem, because now, in addition to acknowledging the issue, you acknowledge that something has to be done. This part is a little bit harder because sometimes we don't want to accept that doing something about a problem could result in a failure, which I'm putting in air quotes, by the way. For instance, I used to own a co-working space. When the world and life as we know it started falling apart at the top of 2020, I had to accept that having a co-working space was no longer a viable option for my business, and that sucked. It hurt, and it was scary, and it made me very sad, but I had to suck it up and close it down. In the case of the relationship issue I mentioned earlier, I can try to fix it, if possible, or I can end it, because sometimes that's just how it is. Both of those solutions will be hard, and just thinking about them makes me uncomfortable, which lets me know they are necessary. So just do like I'm doing and kind of think of the solutions for your problems. You might even want to pause this or come back later with a pencil and paper to write your thoughts down. Because once you have a solution, you're going to have to take action. That's the part where the most stalling happens, but you'll get there. Don't worry about it. Once you're done with that though, like once you actually do that part and you've confronted the issue head on, you're going to need to feel your feelings, and you will hear me say that a lot. Take the time to sit with your feelings and process them, and don't rush it, because that's only going to lead to more problems. If you have a therapist or close confidants, lean on them and talk to them about what you're going through. Remember that it always feels the worst as you're going through it, but eventually you get through it and it will get better. And remember to be nice to yourself. This is one of the big things that probably won't be fixed just because you listened to a 5-minute podcast episode on the topic. If you hadn't already been thinking about it, then this is just the first step. And if you're not fully ready to tackle the issue just yet, it will continue to come up throughout the upcoming months until you're ready to face it head on. This will not be the last time you have to think about it. Let me know what you think about today's thought on Twitter or Instagram at PositivePodHQ. Do you have problems that you've been avoiding, or do you have a story about finally getting over it and attacking a problem head on? I would love to hear about it. And please share this podcast with at least one person that you think needs to hear it, because I would